Hello everyone, welcome to in this new interview exclusive French. And today I am with the actress Natasha Tosini. Hello Natasha, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yes, I'm good, I'm good. So you are here for talking about your new movie, The Bloodline of Bathory. It's a horror movie with a big mansions haunted. It's a horror movie inspired by Elizabeth Bathory. So first questions, who is Elizabeth Bathory?
Elizabeth Bathory was, I think she was I might get some of these facts a little bit wrong, by the way. So anyone watching, don't take this with a grain of salt. Um, but she was a queen, she was a Hungarian queen, and I think this was in the 1400s. Obviously a very, very, very long time ago. Um, but she was the Hungarian queen. She had a husband who was, I think he was 5 years older than her. She was 14 and he was 19, I believe. Um, and so essentially, back then in the 1400s, the healthcare was a little bit different to it is now. Obviously, technology and all the tests we've done and stuff, the like clinical trials, etc. Things are great now, but back then they had lots of issues and had no idea how to fix them. Obviously, she was a Hungarian queen, which meant that she had access to like the best healthcare. Like imagine now, like Elon Musk will have hundreds of doctors, like that's kind of what it was like for her. Um, and another thing was that because back then they didn't really know how things worked. Royal families kind of only had children with family members. So, they wanted to like keep it in the bloodline sort of thing. So their entire family was inbred. She was a product of incest, of course, as well. Um, which meant that she had epilepsy. Obviously, not every single person with epilepsy is a product of incest, and not every person that's a product of incest has epilepsy. But if you are a product of incest, you're highly likely to get epilepsy. So she did, and she had it from when she was about 2 years old, I think. Um, Back then, obviously, they didn't know what it was. And the way that they believed you could cure epilepsy was taking someone's blood and rubbing it on your lips. And they thought, that's absolutely the best thing we can do here. So they tried that with her. Obviously, didn't work. So the next step was like the ultimate best thing ever you could do. You would take someone's blood, enough to put in a glass, and you would take a piece of their skull and you would grind it up and then you drink it as like a mixture, like a potion or whatever. Obviously, that also didn't work because now we know a lot about epilepsy. That was never going to work. But um, from the age of about 2, she was drinking these blood cocktail sort of things. Um, because obviously her family had lots of money and they wanted her to be healthy, which I think is where the Elizabeth Bathory horror story started because I so I know I'm like here, there, and everywhere with the story. Sorry. I hope it's like making sense. Um, I like to look at serial killers and go, why did they do that? Like I'm so big on that, like Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, all of them. I'm like, okay, why did they do that? What happened for this to have occurred, and I find that with women, like female serial killers or even just female murderers, usually there's even more of a reason. Like, for example, most of the serial killers that are female that I research either are killing people because of their partner, who is a man that's a serial killer, and they're like helping him, or they've done it because there's a big reason, like they were sexually assaulted, or they know someone that was sexually assaulted by that person, something like that. But with Elizabeth, um, there isn't really an explanation as to why she did the things that she did. Obviously, I'd understand just drinking blood because I'd be like, okay, well, you thought that was going to help you be healthy. That was a thing that you did forever. But, when we get into, I guess, the whole story of Elizabeth later, you'll hear some things and go, okay, I have no idea why she did that. Do you know what I mean? It's like very intense.
Yes, the first pictures of the movie is very, very bloody. So I'm very excited to watch the movie. And in the movie, you play the character Kim. Uh, so,
Yes, I
uh,
do.
yes, so who is Kim? Who is your character?
So Kim is, she's kind of like, she's kind of gothic, emo-y sort of thing. She absolutely listens to like heavy metal, and she does not care whatsoever about like getting a boyfriend. She does not care at all. I've played lots of characters where I'm like the mean bitchy girl, but I'm like want the boys' attention. Kim absolutely could not care less. Um, she just loves her friends. She is what would usually be seen as the character that people dislike because they think she's rude. But I didn't want to have that character because I knew that, in real life, if you had a friend that was just really nasty and she kept trying it on with your boyfriend or something, they wouldn't be your friend. So I wanted Kim to be that kind of character that would have been sort of thing, but she really isn't a dick. She's a bit blunt, but she loves her friends. She would never do anything to hurt them, like absolute she would risk her life for her friends. Um, and she's very loving, but she doesn't show it on the surface. She's very, it's all she has a nice warm heart underneath the cold layers of ice.
So you play in the movie also with your best friends, Kelly Ryan Johnson. Uh, by the way, how she is? She's
She's
good.
amazing. Oh my God, I love Kelly. Thank you for asking. Oh my God. I can't believe I know Kelly. I think about it all the time. I see her and I'm like, how is someone just so like she is absolutely stunning and beautiful. Obviously, we can see that. Anyone knows that. That's like standard. But that's like the least exciting part of Kelly, which is nuts. Do you know what I mean? Like she has to be one of the nicest women on the planet. Like, she honestly, if I got a call from Tim Burton and he said, or whoever makes Marvel or whatever, and was like, "Hey, look, we want you in this film. Have you got any suggestions?" I'd be like, Kelly. I'd be like Kelly every single day, no matter what, no matter where my career takes me. I will always, always, always make a space for Kelly. You know what I mean? And I will always, every single time I have a chat with anyone, I'm like, my friend Kelly, she's amazing, an amazing actor. She just, oh my God. Sorry, I could talk about Kelly all day. She is the best thing that's ever happened to my life.
So, do you have a fun fact during the shooting movie? Fun fact, story logging?
I do actually. But let me just think if okay. Um I do. I do have a fun story. But I'm gonna preface this fun story by saying, the person that I'm gonna be I won't say the person's name. But the person I'm gonna be speaking about, this was an accident and no hard feelings or anything, just in case the person who this is sees it and is like, oh my God, I'm just telling the story just for the laughs. It's not no hard feelings or anything. I completely understand it was an accident, you know. That was just my preface. So, obviously in the movie we have the killer, right? I don't know, is that the protagonist, the antagonist? I don't know. Something like that. Posh movie word somewhere. The killer basically. Um, and obviously because the bloodline of Bathory features, it's all about Elizabeth Bathory, the killer came from the 1400s, you know. So the killer's costume was an extremely, extremely old nightgown. Obviously, everyone else in the movie is wearing like normal clothes, like pajamas, or like they've got earrings in, all that sort of thing. Whereas the killer has come from the 1400s. So she literally is wearing, literally, you'd look at it and be like, okay, that's a really, really, really old nightgown. Um, we had, okay, I'm not going to give too much away, but we had two of those costumes. for different reasons. And unfortunately, somebody on the set that came for, their scenes, when they left, accidentally took both of the costumes with them. And we were like, okay, what do we do? And it was like a panic because every single person on the set was like, we need to talk to you. And I was like, thinking, this can't be good. Do you know what I mean? When everyone goes, we need to talk to you, can you sit down? And you go, holy shit, what's happened? Do you know what I mean? I thought someone's died or something. And they were like, okay, this person has taken both of the costumes. And I was like, why and how? But also, what we're going to do now? Because the end of the movie needs to be shot with those costumes. And unfortunately, it was about 2 o'clock in the morning when this had happened, and the person that took the costumes lived 2 hours away. So if I went straight away to get the costumes, I'd have got back around 6 a.m., right? Which I was willing to do. But the director was like, I don't want you to do that because you've been unwell. Like, I don't feel comfortable with you driving for 4 hours in the middle of the night, especially after you've taken your medication. Like, I think this is not a good idea. So I was like, okay, spoke to the person and they said, well, I can't stay up late to give it back to you, but I also don't want to drive and meet you halfway. And I was like, okay, so what do we do, sort of thing. And we couldn't get it the next day because they said they were going somewhere. So I was like, okay, shit, what are we gonna do? And when you see the film, you will understand why something happens at the end of the film. But essentially, we had to change like the last quarter of the film because the costume was gone. So we needed to find a way that she was no longer wearing the costume. She was just wearing a normal dress. Do you know what I mean? We had to explain that. So it meant that there was a lot of changes in the fourth quarter of the film. Changes that, I don't hate the changes. We did what we had to do, but I would have preferred them to have not happened. Um, but yeah, anyone that watches it, be mindful of that. And when you see it, you'll go, oh my God, and you'll notice and it'll be blatantly obvious. But yeah, that was never meant to happen. What you'll see, that wasn't the way it was supposed to be.
Oh, okay. Very, very nice story. So your movie, The Bloodline of Bathory, when release? Digital, physical, in Europe country, in France, or not at all?
So right now, I'm not 100% sure where or when it's going to be releasing. That is because obviously I've entered it into quite a few fitting festivals and stuff, most of which would want it to be like a world premiere if it was accepted, like really big festivals. So up until we are 100% sure about that, we don't really want to release it because obviously, um, we don't want to miss out on like a big opportunity with that sort of thing. So I have been talking with ITN, the distributors, and we're going to hold off a little bit so we kind of know what's going on with the festivals and stuff. But as soon as that's done, the film is complete, everything's done, everything has been delivered. So it, okay, I can near enough 100% say it will be released in 2026. And I can near enough 100% say that when it's released, it will be worldwide, like everyone will be able to watch it. But yeah, that is to be confirmed.
For the French distributor movie, we have a movie right now to achat for DVD, Blu-ray release. Hein, voilà. So, Natasha, thank you so much for this interview. I am very excited for discovery the movie, for watch the movie, for me and my community. For finish this interview, do you have a word, last word for my community?
If you want to do something, literally just do it. Every time I'm like, oh, I want to learn how to do that, I just do it and then I do it. Like, I've told my daughter who's 6, the best thing in the world is to fail. And at first she was like, what? But now she's like the first one to say, if someone goes, well, I can't do this, she goes, the best thing ever is that you just failed because now you can fail even better. And then one day you're going to be able to do it. And I just think that's like literally, we are on this planet with loads of animals, like we're floating around in space or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, None of it makes any sense. How is this? How am I able to see you? You're in a different country and we're having a conversation. Do you know what I mean? None of this makes any sense. Like, if you want to learn how to skateboard, do it. If you want to learn how to dye your hair, do it. If you want to learn how to cut someone else's hair, do it. If you want to tattoo, do it. Like, literally, do whatever you want, because the only opinion that matters is your opinion. Everyone else's is irrelevant. You are only in control of your own life.